Where is he?
Hello, hello.
Hello, just bringing up your Twitch, man, and we'll get straight into it. All right, let me just find my fucking...
Find you fucking. I got one of those. I'm just playing some inventory Tetris.
That's totally fine.
Although my inventory is looking quite healthy lately. What's the prize for winning? I guess just knowing how well endowed you are, I guess.
Fucking Chad status on the servers.
I won't take a code, but are you still giving out codes? Like, do you have codes?
I've got a few left. I probably want to save some for my videos.
I was going to say, well, if you were giving it away, just give it to someone else. But I preemptively asked that question. Sorry, you're a good man.
I did one just to try to get the numbers up for last week.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, I got some more videos I'm working on. I want to kind of space them out. I'll talk to Seong though and see if he'll give me some more keys for the winners to give. Because the people who are competing in the tournament, in my mind, are people who are pretty serious about the game. So if they can get some friends or viewers involved, it's a good thing for the community.
100%.
So firstly, how did you find out about Legacy and when did you start playing?
Pardon me, just had a hiccup when you asked. I found out about it pretty much when they announced it, right? Like when they did their first trailer. Because I always keep my ear to the ground with what, extraction games, whether they're fantasy or sci-fi, come out. Because I do like the concept of an extraction game. I think it's cool. I actually really like Tarkov in ways, but there's a lot of things that keep me from playing that game that I just don't really want to get into. But so the genre, I like it. The concept's awesome, but there's been so many failed executions of it. And the closest to another success story outside of Tarkov is Dark and Darker. But if anyone's a fan of Dark and Darker or played it or keep their ear to the ground, they've kind of been spiraling the toilet for the last year and a half very slowly. And now the game's basically just a dingleberry on the side of the porcelain bowl just hanging in there, and all it needs is one more flush and it's fucking gone. And I feel like they're at that point right now with that game. So, yeah, tangent. Basically, I found out about the game Season 0, but it looked a bit scuffed. And I thought I'd give it a bit of breathing room because I bought so many games early in early access, and then they just turned the servers off like a month later or 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, yep.
And then Season 1 came out, just to finish it, the question. Season 1 came out, and I followed Frangie from, I think I watched him play a bit of, I think it was, what was the MMO? Not End World, what was it called again?
New World.
World. Yeah. New World. Yeah, New World. I watched him play a bit of New World for a bit, just sussing out the game. And he'd been on my follow list for like a year or two. And I thought he was a funny guy. So every now and then I'd tune in. And then I saw he was playing the game. I was like, oh, he's on Season 1. Let's suss it out. And I thought, yeah, it's looking good, but still I'll wait. And then Arc Raiders was around the corner. And then they did a countdown for a countdown. And they delayed Arc Raiders until I think 2037 or something like that, about 17 years from now. And then it was like, well, what the fuck am I going to do? Because, sorry for language, if you're going to upload this, you're going to have to edit it now.
No,
what the fuck? I thought it was a funny, because Arc Raiders was supposed to come out, a month ago or, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. So then I thought, oh, let's try this out. So I gave it a sus, and it looked like Frangie was having a lot of fun with the game. I'm like, when someone's genuinely having that much fun on a live stream or a YouTube video, and they're not sponsored or they're not there for clout or viewership, because there's no player base compared to other games. There's no viewership. It's still a very, very, very niche game. That guy's having that much fun regardless of all that. It must be fun. So I tried it, and now I'm hooked. Sorry, Spud, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for coming to the tournament.
I got as much time as you want, bro. I enjoy the tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say me and Echo started playing like in the first few days this game came out, and I had 500 hours before the end of that season. And we literally had maybe 7 or 8, maybe 9 players on OCE in total. So we were just having to play on US West most of the time. But I totally agree. Like we totally believe in this game. The PvP is better than anything I think I've ever played. But yeah, I heard you have a lot of hours on D&D, don't you? I never played it.
Yeah.
Is it similar to this? Is it a similar vibe?
No, it's similar in the sense that like it's an extraction game, right? And a fantasy game.
Yep.
But the execution is completely different. It's like you know how like think of music, like you know you could be in the punk rock genre, but you know there's Green Day and then there's like Bad Brains, and they might as well be on 2 different planets.
Yeah.
But there's still punk rock. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So to an extent. So yeah, Dark and Darker. I think what essentially it's like a much it's very point and click. The melee systems, like there's a bit of skill ceiling to the mechanics of PvP, but it's much more simplistic. And
is there a game
I don't know. I don't think there was
in terms of like combat wise.
I mean, I don't play a lot of like WoW PvP or those types of games, but I know it's like from my studying of like other games and watching this game, it's kind of like World of Warcraft meets fighting games meets extraction. Okay. But there's no one exact one-to-one copy of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah. Well, that kind of answers my next question too. 2 birds, 1 stone. There. I was going to ask what your gaming background was, but there you go. I never played.
Oh, my gaming background isn't this.
Oh yeah. Well,
if you want to know where like the dueling stuff comes from, it's from Quake.
Yeah. Okay.
And Doom.
Yeah.
So I don't actually have this game's DNA in my blood. I decided I'll learn it, but I'm actually more of an FPS turbo virgin. So Quake, I played a lot of free-for-all in the older Quakes, like Quake 3, Arena, and then Quake Live, but I was never into dueling. But when Quake Champions came out in end of 2017, I got into that. So I started dueling, and then that's when I started my stream. And I'd stream to about 10 viewers for like a couple months, and then slowly built up you know how this game has like sort of like 500 to 1,000 average players?
Yep.
Quake Champions is like the same thing.
Yep.
And it didn't really ever break past that. So it was like a very small family vibe with a game. So I streamed and played that, and that's how I started my online clown show. But I was like being really hyper competitive and dueling and really enjoying it, doing 2v2 comps. You know, there's guys that ran local tournaments. I ran my own tournaments for fun and just enjoying like a competitive experience, but like a communal vibe. And yeah, that's where I learned, because when you play PvP games and sweat like a game like this, it becomes like you have to be very studious. You have to like learn and grow and be open to challenges and try things, and it gets your brain going. And I always find that appealing, you know, that you're like, for some people it's probably draining, especially if you come home from work or whatever. But I've like just going around in a battle royale, just clicking on idiots that found a packet of Tic Tacs and socks and you've got a tactical nuke. It's kind of boring after a while to me.
Yeah.
You know, like RNG gaming. I like when it's like, you know, 2 people on a chessboard moving their pieces. And this game has that DNA that Quake has, but in a fantasy like fighter style with RPG elements.
Yeah, I think they really nailed the health bar to like damage output ratios. Like the fights can be quick, but they can also be quite long. They really found that sweet spot of like a skillful fight can last for 3 minutes, even with no heals or anything like that. Or it can be over in 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I love that dual aspect of it as well. It's so good. So with how little you played, how's it feel winning this tournament, especially after last week? Big improvements.
I won't gloat. I practice a little bit. I really enjoy it. I'm doing it for fun. Like I'm not doing it for you know, a dick swinging contest or anything like that. I genuinely, like I said before with the previous question, I genuinely enjoy getting better at games. there's something really rewarding about it. And it's like, I just feel like the multiplayer scene these days, outside of, but here's another, sorry, this is a massive tangent. My biggest problem with the competitive scene in any game, PvP, all of it, it's all team-based, bro. Like, all of it is team-based. Like, you have to be in a 5v5 crew or a 3v3 crew, stripped to the waist or wearing an esports jersey.
Yep.
You can't just be you and practice and get good at something, but you don't have to like get on the phone and call up the boys every fucking 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying by that? That's one of the biggest appealing things with this game is I can just get good on my terms and play the game and focus on me. It's probably a bit selfish, but I just got bored of team games so long ago, man. And Quake is a dueling game. This game seems to be has a dueling scene in it right now. So, yeah, I think that answered the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you had much time to play the deathmatch at all? Have you been online while that's been active?
Yes, I played a little bit. So between last week and now, I haven't done crazy practice. I was doing a lot of the extraction mode, but when the deathmatch was open, I was in the deathmatch mode, like the 2v2s and the 1v1s for a little bit. And then last night, before I went to bed, I snuck on off stream for maybe about an hour and a half. I played in the social hub, practicing with a couple of the guys, just trying to make sure that, you know, I'm a little bit, what's the word, freshened up on like what people are doing with their classes.
Yeah.
So one of the things I made sure I was good with was fighting other hunters, because last week, that's what messed me up with Eco, is he did like a frost arrow immediately on me, and then with the swiftness pants just did a dodge roll, pushed into me and eagled me immediately. And I hadn't experienced that yet. It just threw me off like immediately. So that's what I did, yeah, and play the deathmatch. I like the deathmatch mode, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Them rotating queues. Yeah. Them rotating queues is interesting. I think it's a good idea where, you know, people can come in for duos or solos here and there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it is good.
Mm.
It was all of season 0. Me and Echo were up. Every week it was on. We attended would have been Sunday 3 a.m. It was on every week. Both set the alarm and got up for it. We were hard addicted.
Push it to the limit.
Yeah, exactly. What do you reckon was the hardest match for you tonight? What was the scariest matchup? Had you sweating?
I think Derb. Playing Derb. That one was very 50-50. The rest felt I was relatively in control. Derb's match, the Hunter versus Hunter one with him, because he so for instance, this isn't me gloating. Eco kept doing the same thing in that final, right? At least from my perspective. So I didn't feel pressured too much, because when people do something different each round or you've never seen before, it can throw you off, and improvising, you mess things up. Derb tries something different every time he fights you. He's never the same every fight. So when I fought him, I had to try different things to throw him off.
Yeah, right.
So that's why in the second and the last one, I started playing a bit more defensively and using the tree to push him, to make him make moves that may put him off balance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the hardest one, him.
I like doing that. I find you end up doing that if you spend a lot of time dueling the same person in Goldbrook. You end up doing that to each other. You kind of like, okay, this is what this guy does. You start countering it, and then they start doing new things. Like you said, it's the best way to learn, hey, playing other good opponents.
100%.
And just, evolving off each other and learning the answer to basically any card they lay before you.
Can I do a reverse question on you?
Absolutely.
How did you find the game? How did you find out about the game? Considering it's very sort of niche at the moment.
I think just because every morning on the toilet, I generally try to look up like game news or things I'm interested in. And because I got a Google Pixel phone, it's just got this like Google News feed. And it's always just music I like, movies I like, games I like. and I saw an article the day it released, and then just had a look at some videos and was like, this looks all right. And what is it, like $35? I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I've lost $35 a lot quicker than that on a night out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought I'd give it a go. Then I told Echo about it and was like, I need someone to play with, and he fell in love with it too. We were both playing a shitload of Overwatch before this, but I've got a few thousand hours of League of Legends as well. So I've always liked these kind of like puzzle solving games, I suppose. It's like, this is what that character can do. What sequence do I have to use of my abilities to overcome that? That whole
100%.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to play classic shooters, and then I played heaps of League of Legends, and then Overwatch came out, and it was like, oh, I get to play shooters again, but kind of like with that feel of League of Legends, of like ability uses and ultimates and cooldowns and all of that.
Well, another thing that's like I find cool with the game is it has best of both worlds. You've got like the sweaty PvP, wrinkly brain gameplay, but then there's like the flower picking extraction mode downtime stuff that that like you also can crave, because I crave both. I never like just doing one thing. Yep. Just like hours on end, just explosion, just crazy, hectic. I love that when a game has ebbs and flows. So this game has that beautiful ebb and flow to it, where it's, I want to go pick 10 flowers and find a little beetle and make my little stupid crafting shit. And then, you know what? Let's go sweat. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
that's why
it's kind of like
used to like WoW for that exact reason. If I want to PvP, I can, but then sometimes you just like, I just kind of want to zone out, mind numb out, and farm some shit like you're saying.
Yeah.
Were there any classes or people you really didn't want to see tonight?
I was curious if someone would pull off the rogue. Like there wasn't any classes like because I kind of like get the classes now. But I still find like a dangerous rogue scary when they pull off their stuff, but they seem to struggle in these like tight spaces in the dual capacity. In the more open fights, a good rogue, it seems pretty dangerous. So I don't know, like maybe say like the next tournament's in a more open space. I wonder if a rogue will do really well. Because Titan put in a good effort. The other guy's name slips me. Taco. He took a match off. Yeah, Taco, that's it. He did really, really well. But then that was it. No more rogues. And it just seems to be like a couple warriors, shitloads of hunters, and then loads of priests and wizards. So like the dueling experience seems to be, there's not like enough representation from warriors and rogues right now. And I don't know if that's a balance thing, or it's just maybe the spaces they're fighting in. I don't know.
There was 3 priests tonight, 3 wizards, 2 warriors. I think more hunters than anything.
Yeah. Oh, they're definitely kitted very well. Like I play hunter because I like the mobility, and because I come from a shooting background, so arrow, click, shoot, right?
Yep.
So of course it's sort of like, it's going to appeal to me. But I do think their mobility, because when you play PvP games, you can be tanky and do lots of damage. But I firmly believe that really good players that have mobility, they're hard, like you don't need to be tanky or do as much damage if you just don't get hit.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the glass cannons, the glass cannons will struggle. Like I noticed that the wizards some of them, like Calyx, were doing like an all-in play where they'd sit in the high ground and they wanted to force me into making mistakes, so then they could push and teleport behind me and do that stun lock thing. So I just made sure I had enough mobility, like enough dodge rolls with the swift bow extra push, like I forget what you call it, like the extra roll.
Yeah.
The slide. That's it. The dodge roll and slide. We'll call it that. Dodge roll and slide. So I'd pace back and forth, build up with dodge rolls some of my swiftness, then set up traps. So I've got like a couple traps in the middle of that little pathway to back into if I need to. It's like a hospital position. Then I dodge roll towards him, bait him to make a push with that teleport play, then dodge roll, slide back behind the traps, and then just tickle him. But if I didn't have that with the swift bow, that little extra bit of momentum with the slide,
yep.
I'd maybe have to play like a longbow or medium bow fight with him. You know what I mean? So that mobility's given me a lot of wiggle room to mess with him. I mean, Wizard has cool, what's it, like illusion, where he's pressing all those different, pushing out all those different like images of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. One second, brother.
Yeah, you're right.
So I just had a message pop up. No, so essentially, yeah, that a tangent again. I forgot what the original question was, but classes. Yeah, no, I think the balance is pretty good, but maybe Hunter's like a little bit overtuned. Or some of the other classes probably need to be tuned up. Rather, I don't think they could probably tweak both of the Eagles, right? Both of the Eagles are super strong. The following one, the chasing one, and the one that does the burst damage, they're both super strong. They could probably lower that a bit.
Yeah, Sentinel Strike and Sentinel Call.
Yeah. Those two. And then the other classes could just do with a bit more love. Because I think in some games, they go about things wrong and they just nerf things that are doing well. But what about like lifting up the other classes, giving them things to combat it?
Yeah.
If that makes sense?
Yeah. I suppose the problem there though is by doing that, giving them tools to deal with those hunter things, you're also giving them tools to deal with other classes at the same time, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably why it is easier just to take away from one rather than give 4 power, because you have no idea what that's going to do in between all those other classes, I suppose.
Yeah.
I agree though, people don't like toys taken away from them. No one likes that.
I don't know how much do you reckon they would do nerf like damage let me use English, lower the damage on like the Sentinel burst?
Yeah, I think probably reducing stamina gained off those evade pants. I think that's a little bit cheesy, that you can, because
it's constantly up.
You can just sit back behind trees and just like evade safely, wait for your stand back up, and you just got one loaded in the chamber, and you can't block it. It goes through terrain. It's a very strong ability, and the speed at which especially a Swiftbow Hunter can pump them out is pretty ridiculous.
Maybe an extra cooldown as well, because it's 10 seconds. Yeah. That's up pretty quick.
Yeah, even that. Yeah, just make the cooldown on that longer. Because I dual echo a lot, and what I've found, the only way to beat him is I have to constantly count his evades. Just like 1, 2, 3. And if he's gotten damage on me too, you got to take that into account. It's like, all right, well, it's probably in the chamber. I got to be ready to fucking evade any second. But yeah, besides that, because I don't think they need a hard nerf. I just think everyone hates them because they're so hard. A good hunter, like you said, you just got so much movement. If it's not,
now, I think for new players, right, rogues are annoying as hell. But then once you learn the game, you realize hunters are the true, pain in the ass in this game.
Yeah, season 0, the first few weeks, everyone was just whinging about rogues. It was non-stop, like, fuck rogues. Rogues are ruining this game. And then... I felt the
same way when I was learning the game this season.
Yeah. If you, like you said, but as soon as you know the game, they honestly become...
Yeah.
I see a rogue and I'm like, yeah, I got this. Easy.
Yeah.
I feel a bit bad for them, but still a good rogue, like you said, they're really scary. Because they... I'd love to flip a question on you. I've done it twice now. This will be the second time. No, go for it. I don't mind at all.
What do you... Because I have my theories on how they grow the player population of this game, right? I don't know if you saw my video, but I allude to the fact that, you know, a game can be sweaty and have really good like PvP mechanics, but there has to be some kind of casual element to it as well, or mode. Otherwise, it's just a game made for a very small percentage of gamers.
Yeah.
And that's my angle. And I feel like maybe some PvE maps or something like that aren't super high rewarding gear wise, but they're like baby steps into the other parts of the game. What do you think is the solution? Or you just make it like this is just for men stripped to the waist, you know?
No.
Skin on skin.
I think that it should be like you said, I think a PvE mode probably is good. You're going to get heaps more players, no doubt.
Yeah.
My problem is with them wanting to add more and more maps is you got 2 different modes and then you got multiple maps on 2 different modes. It's like you really need a big, healthy player base to support that. But I'm into that idea, but I think what they'd have to do is something like the PvE map and the PvP map rotating.
And then they just rotate, yeah.
So everyone has to be in the same one. There's been a lot of chat. I don't know if you're in the VIP channel in Disc, probably are. But they were talking a lot about because I really want Arena in the game. That's what heaps of us want. But the whole thing is I also want the other part of the game. I do enjoy that mindless thing, like you were saying. I don't always want to be loading in. Sometimes I just want to go pick some flowers. I like the idea of bring your own gear arena. A lot of other people are saying PvP should be even base. It should be everyone's in the same thing. And they were talking about like people don't want to be farming a trinket in a raid where they have to join a sweaty guild, and it's like I just want a PvP.
Yeah.
But this game doesn't have those sort of like trinkets and items like that are massive spikes. And I think the only way you get people to continually do the extract is trying to get that legendary gear.
Yeah.
Because I got like 4 purple sets. There's no real reason for me, you know, like what am I going to do? Go in and run around and try and stomp some guy just trying to find blues.
Yeah.
It's like I want to arena, but if there was bring your own gear, and I knew other people were building towards having a legendary set, then I want to get that too. So that's going to keep me farming in between pumping arena at the same time. That's my idea for it, though.
There's many angles they can take. They definitely need some kind of Timmy experience though, because like just you know how I was saying what are my origin stories with like PvP games and all that stuff. Like Quake Champions was had a rough thing of Quake Champions having a season 0 where it was like really rough as well. So they had a season 0 experience where it was just like, why did they release the game this early, right? Then they eventually got the game in a really good position, but people had already tried it and moved on, and it was also just full of sweaties, and they farmed average Joes or new players. There wasn't a very good casual or like learning experience in that game, and it literally just stayed forever as a 500 player game. So I think all this PvP stuff that we're doing is really fun and like the arena stuff, but it is for a niche percentage of the players. And this is stuff that like I genuinely think, not to blow your bubble, I think that what we're doing, like the dueling stuff, should be more just grassroots for now, and you know the scuff shit that we're doing, and they really work on the new player experience and a casual experience, because I like Quake Champions is dead, but it was a really good PvP game, and it was full of like the best FPS players. Like if you were to ask me who are the best FPS players in the world, it was literally the 200 dudes who played that game.
Yeah.
But no one knows about that game because it was just a game for 200 people. Yeah. Do you get it?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll always come off like really like what's TheSpudHunter's problem, man? Why is he so fixated on this shit? Because I've been there, done that. Yeah. Like I know how good like an awesome game and a PvP experience like this is, but they still need to somehow bridge people into that. I think they can pull it off because people do like watching this shit. Yeah, Rafa still plays Dream, just like semi-retired. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with that. Like, I know that for this game to succeed, there needs to be new players. And if that means
100%.
PvE experience, I know eventually, like, most of them just want to learn the game in a safe place.
Yeah.
Because I felt like at the start, my first few hundred hours, like 100, 150 hours, you just getting stomped. Because it was a brand new game. You had no idea what was going on. And I was playing Priest. It was like, I had no idea how to play it. And it's not the most intuitive class, especially when there's not many people playing. You don't really... And there was no duel hub either. That's the thing last season. The only PvP you got was when you met someone in a match. And if you lost because you misplayed, it was just over. And then, it's another maybe 20 or so minutes.
No, 100%.
Before you even get to see anyone else.
No, I've realized looking back on the trajectory of the game that I've come in at the right time for me. Like, for me. But I hope, like, for they ever do... Here's the deal, right? They should never market the game and like properly, because I know they did Twitch drops, but I think that was just them testing them a bit and maybe hoping some more people will come through with like the Steam sale. But I don't think there's been a lot of buzz through the Steam sale. I know my video that I made, for whatever reason, has been suggested to some new viewers. So there's been a couple of people saying, oh, they found the game through the video and all that kind of shit. But I think it's still very like, they need to get like new play experience, a Timmy mode, some kind of PvP tutorial, even if it's primitive in the game, that teach them about like focus on stamina. It's all about stamina, right?
Oh yeah.
Because it wasn't until someone in my Twitch chat said, Spuddy, it might have been Frangie. Someone said focus on the stamina, about exhausting theirs and saving yours. And then as soon as I realized that, it clicked, but it didn't until then. I was like 3 days in. So until they have that, they should never market. I'd not even bother with another Twitch drops or even sale. They do that, and that's what I'm thinking season 2 sounds like it'll be, judging from their dev blog. But yeah, if they do that for season 2, I think the game, it won't have like a viral moment like Dark and Darker did, but they could easily, like, every 3 or 4 weeks, there's another 100, there's another 200 average players increase, just word of mouth, bit by bit.
Yeah. Because
I do think if you build it, they will come, but you still have to have like the good stepping stones. Because again, I'm not one of those streamers who thinks he knows everything, but I've been doing this for 8 years now, and I've been through enough, dude. I've covered so many games that have flopped. You start to see like the patterns. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, you see the lines in the matrix, the code. So for me, I see the awesomeness in this game, but then I also see some of the flaws and the issues that hold it back. And early access models are starting to get, like, people roll their eyes at it. Even I do. It took a lot for me to give this game a go, more than most people. So they have a lot going against them at no fault of their own. Like, for instance, people bought into Dark and Darker, but through a live service, they develop it into the ground, do bad patches, and piss everyone off. Like, for instance, they removed solo and duo queue and a PvE mode that people bought the game for. Like, it's like, imagine you bought a steak, but then halfway through your meal, I fucking take the actual steak off and you're just left with the peas and gravy. You're like, what is this shit? All right. So essentially, right, that early access model is starting to wear thin with people because, like people experience with that. So then they think, oh, I'm going to buy this game. Are they going to do the same bullshit? Are they going to like turn the servers off or change the game completely? So, they've got a lot of work against them, but I think, not to beat a dead horse, they can somehow either season 2 or sometime soon TM, PvP tutorials, PvE mode of some fucking kind for the Timmies. Then people will play this and enjoy it. Because as much as like people like you and like everyone that played tonight in that tournament, they're all in the 1%. They're people that like approaching games analytically and like a chessboard, where they think and they grow. Most people don't. And I have a theory with that, is because most mainstream games, they all kind of transfer their basic game skills. It's all the same. It's like point and click, do this, hold an angle, peek, hold an angle, peek, sit in the bush, one tap. low TTK or shooters, it's all transferable. And people will say stuff like Tarkov's a really hard game to get into. And it's like, yes, but the reason it's hard is not because of the mechanics. It's because of game knowledge. Where's the extraction locations? What's the builds you need for your guns, the armor types, all that kind of shit. It's just years of and months of, grinding map game meta knowledge. But when it comes to mechanics, you could literally come from Call of Duty or any other game and play that game and it will make sense. The mechanics, that is.
Yeah. Yep.
The basic mechanics. I couldn't pluck a single person from another game right now and put them into this game and they'd understand it. That's a massive problem.
Yeah.
That's huge. I took a whole bunch of Dark and Darker streamers because that game's going to shit. So I sort of gave them a heads up and some game codes hey, check out this game. I'm streaming it. People are watching. I'm having a good time. Fuck it. Come try it. And one of them, he crashed out on stream because he was one of the best rangers in Dark and Darker. He plays the ranger in this class and he gets his cheeks spread wide so fucking far that he has a new arsehole, and his whole Twitch chat are telling backseat gaming. And he, everyone has a bit of an ego to an extent. And when you deal with streamers, they have twice that. And they have to protect their brand that they're a sweaty gamer. Otherwise people go, oh, he's got a tiny cock, right? So he crashed out. He was like, fuck this game. It's for virgins, for, nerds. Nothing makes sense. Stamina systems, blah, blah, blah. And then he rage quit. And it was he played it he came into it just trying to play it like another game he's played before. And you can't with this game. So that's something I hope they work out for season 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep playing regardless. But
I agree, because honestly, for a new player who hasn't played anything like this, I think you got to be braced for 50 hours probably minimum of just getting your ass handed to you over and over. Over and over.
Yeah.
And it takes, like you said, it takes a certain mindset to keep wanting to knock away at that puzzle to work it out. But a lot of people don't want to do that. So I think PvE mode's a good idea. But like I said, if they keep introducing new maps, I think there needs to be a cutoff on the availability of all the maps at the same time. And especially solos, duos, and trios. You just have people split so hectically. You could have 100 people online on your server and not see one of them. Or it'd be hard to. I think that'd be a bit of an issue. I've only really got 2 questions left anyway.
Yeah. I'll do rapid fire answers instead of my TED Talks.
No, I don't mind, man. It's all good. I'm enjoying this.
Hey, cool, man.
What advice would you give to next week's contestants, if you have any type of special prep you did or mindset or?
So I woke up every morning drinking protein shakes, raw egg in a cup, like Rocky. No, I would say, and this is what I had to do with Quake. Although I didn't do what I did in Quake, where I watched the VODs back and religiously. I think at a certain point you can do that. But what I did is I analytically looked at why I lost the duel fight against is it Echo?
Echo, yeah, yep.
Yeah, Echo, sorry. Echo, the last tournament, all right? And then make notes of what he did that threw me off and where I went wrong, looking back at it.
Yep.
And then work on that. And then also just keep every now, you don't have to play hours every night training, because I didn't really train much for this. I did spend an hour and a half last night in the social hub before bed. And then I'd play the deathmatch mode every now and then. But what it was is when I did practice, it was focused practice. It wasn't just fart-assing around. I was like, okay, I have a list of things that I got to make sure I work out. Okay, I'll make sure I play a priest. I'll play a wizard, and I'll try and find the top one in the social hub and ask them generously, okay, can we just have a couple games? And look at what they're doing, and even let them kill you heaps. Let them get confident and work out what are they doing that's their main play that they rely on. I had noticed with Calix, he kept holding back and he did all-in plays with the burst damage, that flame strike, whatever it is. I think it was called, where they burn you. Yep. And it was that was his whole shtick. And then he would just tickle you the whole, it was just medium shot, range shots with the fireball. So they're okay, that's his thing. You don't have to learn every single player, but just learn what some of the tricks people are doing. And then once you work out what they're doing in a fight, play around it. So keep playing against different people and go out your comfort zone. Do what Frangie does. I do it too. Frangie, me, Derb, they're the 3 Aussie boys I know are happy to just eat shit from people, like constantly lose against them in duels and like just like die. But as they're doing, learning why. So just always look at why the other person did well and why you did wrong. And if you don't get it, eventually you will by just experimenting. That's it. That's what I did. I didn't practice heaps. I just made sure it was focused.
I totally agree with that. I verse people that I go back and forth with, losing a lot to, and I find even though our community's small, everyone's actually really nice. They're all good guys. They all want to learn, and
you have to be, otherwise there's no one to play against.
Yeah.
Everyone's pretty chill. I haven't dealt with any assholes.
No, me neither. It's really great. It's a really nice little community. And last question then. For future tournaments, if there was any changes or in terms of rules, the viewing, just anything. Is there any changes, if any, you can think of?
No, I think for what you and the crew have to deal with, because it's a very grassroots setup, you just go into the social hub and work with what's there. It's not like an official mode. With admin tools, I think it's run pretty well. The whole pots thing's fine. I know that like it's a bit awkward with wizards and the mana thing, the energy. But I'd say some people are going to be more salty than others with like different scenarios. Like the bridge spot is awesome, but it favors hunters so much. But that bridge spot is awesome. Like visually too. Like all the spectators can see.
Yep.
That place that we were at before, it's a cool fighting spot, but I do think it benefits some classes than others. It actually even benefits the hunters, because those ledges, warriors struggle to get on top of them. So you just sit on top of those little like mounds of grass. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a sandbank in a golfing area.
Yep.
But anyway, the higher terrain, and then one side's actually a little bit better for cover than the other. I know people can swap, but it's still a bit lopsided. So other than that, some maps people are going to be a bit salty because they get the shit end of the deal. But otherwise, it's run good. It's dealing with what you got is pretty good. There's no admin tools, so it's pretty good. That's about it. Yeah, I guess just keep spicing it up. New locations.
Yeah, that's my plan. I'm thinking maybe one more week of 1v1s and then trying an idea I've got out for maybe 2v2s or something like that.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Could be pretty
That'd be dope.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to find. I've run around that map so many times trying to find like where's going to be an interesting place to fight, but also have a cool spot for the spectators to watch. And it's really easy to find one place that covers one of those bases, but the other base suffers due to it, I suppose. It's either not the coolest fighting environment or there's nowhere really cool for people to watch it. But yeah.
Other than your perspective.
Yeah. Which I do want to draw some attention to myself in doing all of this, but
no, there's nothing wrong with it.
But I still want everyone else to be able to watch it too. It's kind of cool, all the boys being there and being a part of it, and it gives it a bit of a spectacle, I suppose. Yeah,
the game needs a cheer emote, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you're like
exactly. That'd be too good.
That's cool. Thanks for running it, man. It's all good fun. I really enjoy playing.
No, thanks for being there and bringing all the extra eyes. I want the game to succeed, and I'm doing what I can, but it's great to have like you and Ferengi and Derb, some other big guys on, getting some eyes on it.
Yeah, no, it'll be right. They just got to work on the Timmy experience. Casuals. They got to think of the casuals. That's all. Yeah. Every game lives and dies by them.
Yeah. You constantly need new influx because no one plays forever.
That's it.
No, thanks for your time, bro, and well done. Congratulations.
Thanks again, man.
Great fight.
Appreciate it.
And I'll,
GG.